I had a great game playing against Earl Wayne here. He's at the bottom and he won the dice roll, so he'll be going first. I'm playing Edric. My hand is going to be at the bottom, so don't let that be confusing. And he's playing Damia, Sage of Stone, so I'll go ahead and get started here. So I just kept this, modest speed hand here. And my opponent leads off with Terramorphic Expanse, and I get down with Aquarian Ranger. So this is kind of interesting. He's got a Viridian Emissary, and I've got a Sylvan Ranger. I get to get my lands now. He's got to wait on his. He plays Baleful Strix. You'd almost never see this card, and I really like it. It's a powerful card. I mean, it's going to be able to block just about anything. You draw a card when it comes into play, and it'll kill just about anything. So it's like blue-black, destroy a creature, draw a card, and it can carry equipment. So anyway, on my turn I just get down with Edric and pass, and he plays Undue Giant to go get an island. So the ground's getting kind of gummed up here, but I figure, GTA is my long-term plan to break through all this. So I go ahead and strip his Drowned Catacombs in order to slow him down a little bit. And I'm feeling pretty good here. What I'd like to have possibly cast, possibly the right play there actually might have been just to cast Garrick and then untap the Wasteland and Trop, then cast the bird and then strip his land. It would have forced me to have to make some blocks that I wasn't exactly ready to do yet, so I kind of held out. And he plays Urborg for Shadowborn Demon. So I had to read the card. I hadn't seen it yet. It's basically a Necrotal for non-demons, but during upkeep he has to sack a creature if he has less than 6 creatures in his graveyard. So I thought, that's not so great. I mean, so he kills Edric and I just stick him in the command zone. But now I get to start killing his guys. Of course he's going to kill his Viridian Shaman first, I'm sure. But so I draw the Snap, and I thought about snapping the Viridian just because forces him to sacrifice a more meaningful creature to his Undue Giant, but Snap on Viridian Emissary just seems so weak. So I decided what I would do is just replay Edric and pass the turn and let him go ahead and just get his land, and then save my Snap for later, so he goes and gets a tapped island. I mean, after all, I've got to have an answer for Damia. So, well, look at this. He plays Shrieking Drake. Pretty interesting creature, actually, especially when you're playing a bunch of 1/8/7 creatures, come into play effects and death effects. So he picks up his demon, and this is now a Vindicate, or a Necrotal, basically. And now it comes to make my Edric a 7 mana Edric. So I draw Mystical Tutor. Like, so far this really doesn't look too great for me. So I go ahead and equip the GTA on the Ranger, figuring I'm going to just kill the Ranger and then I'm going to use the GTA to kill off Shrieking Drake and Baleful Strix, forcing him to sacrifice Undue Giant. That's not a bad situation to be in. So he blocks, kills my guy, and then I ping away his Strix for the plan. In my Growth Chamber now. And equip the Aquarian Ranger. That way he can't really afford to... Not so much that... I mean, he's going to sacrifice his giant here, but this allows me to attack with the Aquarian Ranger next turn without having to spend mana to do it. Like, if you see the next turn I could tap 7 mana and cast Edric and attack. So anyway, his Undue Giant dies. And what I figured he'd do is play Damia, and that's exactly what I want. I want him to play Damia and say go, and then I'm in a great spot. I can Quirion, untap the bird, bounce his Damia back to his hand, attack with the Quirion maybe, or who knows? Because I assume he's going to attack with Shadowborn Demon. But unfortunately, he's got a Bone Shredder, so I have to just let the Aquarian Ranger die. I mean, using a GTA counter response. It doesn't make any sense. Untapping the bird so I can snap Necrotal back to his hand is not good. I didn't think so. I just let it go and take my punishment. And then he plays Wood Elves. So I thought what was going to happen is he wasn't going to have any other plays, and I was going to GT, equip the bird, attack, get some more counters, kill the Bone Shredder, either way he blocks or not. That'd leave him with 5 creatures exactly, and then he would have to sacrifice his demon to itself. But with this Wood Elves, things are not looking so good. So I do draw Mana Leak there, and go ahead and get down with Garrick, and then equip the GT. And that part of the plan stays. He, of course, blocks, because if he doesn't block, I'm going to get the counters. If he blocks, I'm going to get the counters. I might as well block, I guess. Actually, if I were him, I probably wouldn't have. Make me use one more. So I've got a GT with 2 counters on it. And then I thought I was set here. What I thought was going to happen on his turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that during his upkeep, this would go on the stack, and then with it on the stack, I would kill his Wood Elves, and then we resolve this ability, he would kill himself. The problem is this is an if trigger, not a when trigger. So I'm just pointing this out so that other people don't make the same mistake I did. Much like Oath of Druids, if you're familiar with that card, but if triggers check on activation, and then they check on resolution. So it has to be true in order for it to go on the stack, and then it has to be true when it's time to resolve, or else it will fizzle. When triggers say, when this happens, put it on the stack, and then they don't care what happens after that. That will resolve when it gets to its point. So because this is an if trigger, my whole plan, my tricky plan with killing the Wood Elves, is really stupid. As soon as I kill the Wood Elves, this is going to fizzle. What I should do is just leave 2 counters on the GT and let him eat his own Wood Elves. It's the best I can do, right? So, we'll see how I get punished for my mistake in a moment. I don't correctly parse the Shadowborn Demon, so he no longer has to sacrifice anything. And then, to punish me for being dumb, he plays Uktabi. And had I had 2 counters on the GT, Uktabi would come down, target the GT, I would remove 2 counters and kill the Uktabi would die, then the GT would die, but at least I would take something down as it was leaving. But since I wasted a counter, I can't make that play, and the best I can do is gain 2 life, which is really not good. And he gets in with Shadowborn Demon, and I snap it, because I need to keep Garrick. It's either snap or Garrick. I decide Garrick's more important. Unfortunately, it means he's going to 187 my bird now, but I have a plan for that. So he follows up with an Aether Adept on my bird, and I thought about countering it because, well, my plan is the Mystical Tutor for Natural Order. Then I realized it's a bird, I can recast it, it's 1, just let it go. Not important. And then he plays Demonic Tutor, and I absolutely Mana Leak this. And I Mana Leak it because the one card I'm afraid he's going to go get is Living Death. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 mana to pay for the Mana Leak, and then Living Death puts all this into play. I get like trash, and he just wins the game. So no way, sir. I'm not going to let you Demonic Tutor. Now, I really wanted to save the leak for the Damia, in a sense, but since my plan is Natural Order, and I know he's holding a demon, costs black, I'm still doing okay. So I go get Natural Order, and draw a land. Not so great. And I make my Natural Order play right now. Kill the bird, get Trastodon, thump 2 swamps, and then I have to take a risk. I go ahead and kill this land to protect Garrick, and produce a elephant token to protect Garrick. So I have to take a risk here. If I killed 1 more of his lands, I would have 1 less elephant, he would have 1 more elephant. Garrick would definitely die next turn. But he would be 2 turns off from a Damia. Now he's 1 turn off from Damia. All he has to do is draw a black source. But with this play, if he doesn't draw, every turn he doesn't draw a black source is a turn that I get to use Garrick. And I think That's a big deal, and that's playing the win. So I make that play and go for it. And he draws. I know it's not a demon. He can't cast that. Doubling Season, and I sort of sigh in relief because it does nothing. So I draw Glenelendra, and she comes down. So I've got a little defense, but Damia is the card I'm afraid of. I make another beast. And then I swing in with Trastodon, because at this point, I am more than happy to trade Trastodon for 3 of his permanents. I want to clear the way so that next turn, Edric can draw me a bunch of cards. And he just chumps. Very, very foolish. Like, there are 2 things you don't want to... If you're facing a Trastodon, there are only 2 plays. Let it hit you, or block with enough creatures to kill it. Turning Trastodon into Royal Assassin, tap to destroy one of your creatures, is not something you want to be doing. Because it doesn't help you with the 9/9 problem. And I'm just gonna keep eating your guys until you're out of creatures. So he makes the worst play possible and then draws a not swamp. Draws an island. And I am in business. So thanks to Garrick, I'm able to get Edric down with 2 mana up, which means if I draw a counter, I am in good shape. And I also have Glenelendra mana ready to go. And I swing in with all but 1 beast so that I can protect the Garrick. So if he sends with all 3 guys, I cannot protect Garrick. I can trade a beast for a beast and an Edric for a Aether Adept, and then but that's it. But remember, I'm going to be drawing 4 cards here, so. And also I have that Secura. So this is what I draw. So because I drew a counterspell, if I hadn't drawn a counterspell, I'd just throw down like Secura or a Priest. But because I did, I just say done. And if he wants to kill the Garrick and lose 2 of his guys and leave me with 4 unblock, 4 tap to draw card creatures. Actually, I wouldn't even trade Edric away. I would trade a beast for an elephant. Garrick would die, and then I'll be drawing a ton of cards. And at this point, I feel like it's an acceptable scenario for me. So you top deck Soul Ring and does not kill Garrick. So if you're not going to block with your creatures, you better attack with your creatures. But he does nothing. So in turn, I kill Doubling Season just to play it safe. I don't want any Jaces coming down with double the counters or something like that. And because I'm going to get more cards in hand. Normally I'd just save it for an effect with value, but because I'm going to get more cards in hand, here I needed to spend my mana. So yeah, I draw, and he really should have killed the Garrick there. But he didn't, so here comes everybody. He starts throwing guys. Now if he had his monkey still and killed off the Trastodon earlier, at least now he would be able to kill another creature, and that's like, he wouldn't have taken 9 to the face with the Trastodon. But since he wasted it, I mean, I don't know, I guess he felt that the situation was hopeless here, but I mean, the right play here is definitely to trade elephant, you don't give me 2 extra cards and 6 of your life for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, so I suppose you reached give up phase. So I played Priest, Raphaelis, Dragon, Clamp, pass the turn, and that's it. He finally gets his swamp, but it's too late. So here's the version I'm using. I've added some more mana sources. I put Mox Diamond back in. I went up to 33 lands. I put in Mana Vault again. I'm not 100% on the way that this is configured, but I was having some mana problems, which is just completely insane when you consider how many mana sources this deck runs. But it was happening, and it happened, and it happened, and when it happens enough times, you realize, like, no matter what you think you've done, if you're having mana problems consistently, then you haven't done it right. So I added in more. And hopefully with the Mox Diamond and the Vault, I can cheat a little faster. I do think 33 land is probably the correct number for this deck, one of them being an Arbor. But what I had to do is I had to take out Fauna Shaman, so I no longer have the ability to easily go get deranged tournament, easily go get Sower of Temptation, easily go get Arreo, which was the number one reason that Fauna Shaman was in there. Just gonna have to deal with that. And I took out. I actually don't. Oh, Imperious, the guy that produces 1/1 tokens. All your elves get +1/+1. Imperial Perfect. He's a cool little combo with like opposition. He's cool with Gaia's Cradle. He's cool with Skull Clamp to a degree. But what I had asked myself is, what is he by himself? And by himself, he's a creature that doesn't make any mana. It's the same reason I pulled Fauna Shaman. They don't make mana, and what I need is creatures who produce mana, or creatures who have a specific purpose, like Verdian Shaman's ability to kill swords and soul rings and stuff. Sower's ability to take things, and his ability just to produce 1/1s. That's not important to me. I mean, I feel like a Masticore is more important. The ability to kill my opponent's permanents or develop my board. Those are what's important. Quirky tricks, little searching tricks, drawing a few extra cards and stuff like that. You'll notice I don't play the elf that draws a card. I don't play the elf that, or the insect that picks up other elves. Because with Edric, all I need is consistent deployment, and Edric will do the rest of the work. So that's the philosophy here, and I hope you enjoyed the game, and I guess we'll see you next time.